All right, y'all, we are back with another video, and here we go again. Now, Kamala Harris is a hypocrite. This is the same woman that kicked out two Christians for saying Jesus is Lord, literally told them that you are at the wrong rally. Think about this. For two Christians that said Jesus is Lord, and you kick them out for saying that, and then you turn around and go to a church. This woman is a hypocrite. She's a fraud. She's a liar. And this just don't make any sense at all to say something like that and then turn around and go to a church as if people just forgot what you said. So this one right here by Devory Darkins, I will leave the original video in the description. Make sure y'all go to his channel. Let him know that I sent you. He said Kamala loses her mind and get heckled during her church speech. Which is, we know how Kamala Harris is. When somebody's saying something, she like to go up on the attack. She like to do these little face expressions. Sometimes she'll say something stupid out loud, just like she did to the two Christians. As if when she went to this church, of course, people know who she is. They remember what she just said. When they said Jesus is Lord and you kick somebody out, not only did you just tell them to be quiet, they can stay there, but you kicked them out of your rally for saying it. So she go to this church. And people was not playing around with it. So please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. That way you can stay up to date with everything that's going on. And like I said, shout out to everybody who always watches their entire video, because YouTube will share it, which really helps the channel grow. So I appreciate everybody who always stay to the very end and hit that like button as you coming in. Without further ado, let's go ahead and dive straight to it.
As a nation, we face real challenges. We carry
Vice President Kamala Harris, she is losing her mind because once again, she is getting booed and heckled, but not just at the campaign rallies. Now it's at church. Yes, she went to a black church today because, again, she's still trying to pander to the black community. She only started to do this towards the end when the polling came out and showed that black people are not buying what she's selling. Anyways, yeah, she was getting heckled, and we're going to show you that clip, which is fascinating. And there are two interviews coming out from Kamala Harris. They haven't released the full interviews yet, but there are a couple of clips I want to address. So why don't we just start with why you clicked on this video. Here is Kamala Harris getting interrupted again during her speech. Watch.
I do believe Paul's message holds great urgency. As a nation, we face real challenges. We carry
That's what she get.
That's why we fight for a democracy.
Look at her.
That's why we fight for a democracy.
Look what she's saying.
Every voice is important. Every voice is important.
Clearly, Kamala Harris is a walking contradiction to Christian faith. Okay,
exactly.
That's the funny thing about this. It's only in the black community that we would tolerate this. Okay, so I definitely want to say that out loud. All right. Now, if you thought that was crazy, wait till you see the most cringiest thing that you could ever see Kamala Harris do in a black church. Watch this.
Because, church, I know we were born for a time such as this. And I have faith he is going to carry us forward, and the road ahead won't be easy. It will require perseverance and hard work. But in times of uncertainty, Scripture reminds us, weeping may endure for a night, but joy cometh in the morning.
Just fake.
The path may seem hard, the work may seem heavy, but joy cometh in the morning. And church, morning is on its way. God bless you. God bless America.
Yikes. So I say this all the time. I just don't like it when people like Kamala Harris act like they are true churchgoers, okay? And all of a sudden they have a Christian faith, rolling up into church knowing you support 0 restrictions on abortion. And I'm about to get to that, by the way. And now you want to switch up your accent so you can pander to people in the audience.
That's what
This
she
is
do all
not
the time.
Who you are. You're not a pastor.
See,
That's the thing. I don't understand why black people are tolerating this. This is crazy.
I know
It's
I'm not.
for me to put Kamala Harris down, okay? Because she's a human being just like all of us. We all have flaws. I got that. What I'm saying is, can you stop being fake? Just be who you are. You're from San Francisco, okay? You ran on being an American Indian senator, not a black woman.
Exactly.
That's facts. That's what the headlines say. That's what the titles say. That's in your own words you said. Getting back to the total contradiction that she is. We know she supports zero restrictions on abortion. And yes, in this upcoming interview, she basically admits that. Watch this.
You do support restrictions after viability.
I support Roe versus Wade being put back into law by Congress and to restore the fundamental right of women to make decisions about their own body. It is that basic.
But you know there are restrictions. With Roe versus Wade, there were restrictions
She know
after
that.
viability.
We
know
would
that.
not be debating this if Donald Trump had not hand-selected 3 members of the United States
My
Supreme Court
God.
with the intention they would undo the protections of Roe v. Wade. And what we have seen, as demonstrated last night and every day these last 2 years.
Again, I always come back to this conclusion. Like, I know people in her campaign are telling her, don't answer the question that way. I have to believe they are, because these are smart people. I just don't think she listens to them, or she just can't when the lights turn on.
She just can't talk.
Because to answer that question in the way that she did pretty much says, yeah, I don't care about any restrictions, and it's Trump's fault. That's not going to work.
It's
okay?
not.
And then the black community, a black church, allows someone like her to roll up.
That's what
and give a
bothered me.
speech. I find it funny. Every 4 years, it's the black community going out there and humiliating ourselves, humiliating our culture. We are walking.
And I have to agree with him on that, because if you look at it, this woman literally just kicked out 2 people that said Jesus is Lord. And then why would a black church allow this woman to come up in there acting like she's a pastor? She's not a pastor. This woman is a liar. She's a fraud. And I mean, some of them up in there is heckling her because they know what she said. And you got some people in there that's act like they don't care what she said. So it's kind of frustrating me too that a black church allowed this fake woman to come up in there and act like she's somebody pastor after she literally just kicked out 2 people for saying Jesus is Lord. That is a hypocrite. I don't like it. It don't make any sense for a church, and that church can't act like they didn't see that. So, like, them 2 individuals didn't do anything wrong. Just because they said Jesus is Lord, they mean they get kicked out the rally and you tell them to go down the street to another one? I mean, come on, man.
Contradictions. I would respect them more if they just sat out this election. I'm not going to demonize people for not voting. If you believe in your religious faith that it doesn't make sense, then don't vote. That's fine. But to really cast a vote for someone who has 0 restrictions on abortion, knowing that when it comes to viability, that is murder.
Yep.
That's just, it's insanity, people.
Just like Donald Trump said, in the 7th month, the 8th month, the 9th month, was a question she didn't answer during the debate with her and Trump. And her running mate, Tampon Tim Walz.
Just on the issue of abortion, we're still not talking about the mutilation of children. We're still not talking about putting illegal immigrants before me and you. All right, so here's Kamala Harris, pretty much copying Trump again. She's now
That's
in
what she
a
always do.
black Philly barbershop. Watch.
How's everybody doing? Good. Vice President, we thank you so much for coming and being with us to have this conversation inside the barbershop.
Indeed, that's where all the truth gets spoken. That's where the news gets shared.
And you know, like this, we kind of breaking the code.
That's where the news gets
We got
shared.
you in the barbershop, you know. It's a little private, but we.
Not my first time.
Okay, I'm just saying, we got you in here today.
Again, I just don't think that she is equipped to be the next president of the United States. Not because
She literally said this is where the news gets shared. And if y'all look at it, she's copying everything Donald Trump do. She tried to copy Donald Trump no tax on tips policy. Donald Trump goes to a black barbershop. She goes to a barbershop. She does everything Donald Trump does. Everything. This woman is just not relatable. Nobody takes her serious. I mean, come on, that offended a lot of us when she said, I'm going to legalize pot for black people. What? That's what you really think of us? We just somebody who just love pot, according to Kamala Harris. And so now she's pandering. She's going to black churches. She's going to black barbershops. Just don't make any sense at all. She's going to keep trying to pander, but it's not going to work.
She's a woman. It's just because she doesn't have the it.
She don't.
Right?
She don't have it.
You may hate Trump, but you know who he is. You know when he walks into a barbershop, he's not going to switch up his accent.
Nope.
He's not going to go to a church and start trying to talk black. Right? I mean, he's going to be who he is no matter where he goes.
Yep.
That right there, whether you love him or hate him, American people respect that level of authenticity. And that, I say, is the biggest weakness of Kamala Harris.
I agree.
Another weakness of Kamala Harris is on foreign policy. She has no idea what she's talking about as it pertains to foreign policy, especially when you hear the way she answers questions about it. Again, here's her answering a question about Iran's escalating threat in the region.
Israel launched an attack on Iran that has raised fears of a widening conflict in the Middle East. What is your message to Iran?
Well, first of all, do not respond. It would be a mistake. And we are prepared to defend Israel as we have before. We will again. But the critical point is that there must be a de-escalation in the region. And we are working through diplomatic channels and other channels to ensure that there is a de-escalation in the region.
Is there any indication based on the intelligence that you've seen that Iran wants to respond?
I can't speak to that, but we've been very clear as the United States that they should not respond and that it would be a mistake.
What are the consequences if they do?
I'll keep you posted.
Wow.
You can watch more of Noor's interview with Vice President Harris tomorrow on CBS Mornings and on the CBS Evening News.
The sitting vice president cannot speak to that. Now, if you ask Joe Biden that same question, I guarantee you he would give you an answer. Now, he may.
But one thing you do have to get with Joe Biden, he will answer the question. He might mumble it, but he will give you some type of answer. But she can't give you anything. We'll keep you posted. She can't answer basic questions. She just can't.
Be rambling and he may be all over the place. He may forget what he said, but he's going to answer the question. Okay.
Yep.
She absolutely just dismisses it outright. Oh, yeah, I can't answer that. Oh, you know why she doesn't want to answer the question? It's because she's a part of the administration that has failed to do any type of retaliation when Iran continued to attack either our own allies or our own soldiers. We know that Iran has become increasingly more wealthy and has become more flagrant because of how weak the current administration is. So, of course, she can't answer this question. Now, she has surrogates that are continuing to make excuses for her behavior, her poor performance as it pertains to these interviews. And as soon as that CBS interview drops in full, I will create another video about it. Anyways, I digress. And before I forget, if you're getting value from this video, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel.
Do that.
So we get this out to more people like you and me. If you want to support us further, go to the link in the description below. Grab yourself some merch, or you can buy us a cup of coffee. Now, Mark Cuban, who's fallen from grace, he's absolutely unhinged. He keeps going after Elon Musk and Trump. But here's his excuse on why Kamala Harris is terrible at interviews.
So I've heard you say a couple times that she's not a good salesperson.
Right.
Isn't that important, not just in a campaign, but in being president?
Well, there's different types of salespeople, right? There are salespeople with lousy products that have to oversell. That's Donald Trump. Then there's other salespeople who may not be as boisterous and relentless, but know that they have a great product, so they don't have to be boisterous and relentless. That's Kamala Harris.
Okay, so let me get this straight. Democrats have controlled the country 12 out of the last 16 years. You're claiming that she has a better product than the Republicans? Stop it, okay? This is the fundamental difference between the Democratic Party and the Republican Party.
Yep.
The Democratic Party historically has been the better party at selling their shitty product, okay? The Republican Party, on the other hand, they have a far superior product. They've just been very shitty at selling it. So I'm not buying that whatsoever. I mean, Mark Cuban, come on, guy. Come on. She is not a salesman. She'll never be a salesman. No one buys anything that she's selling. They don't even buy what you're selling because you're a walking contradiction too.
The only thing Mark Cuban is trying to do is get a spot in her administration if she was to win. He literally already said that. he mad because Donald Trump don't want to take him in. So this is what they do. When they don't like Donald Trump or he turn down their offer or whatever, they just turn against him. And here they go being anti-Trump. Everything he does is bad according to them. You can't take Mark Cuban serious at all. He just run his mouth and just say anything.
Okay, I think I'm done ripping Kamala Harris and her campaign, and let's get into some numbers, right? There's really two things I want us to take a look at. Mark Halperin, okay, who's the owner of the Two-Way app. He's a phenomenal commentator now at this point, and he provides great insight on the state of the race. Let's hear what he has to say.
There's signs that things are getting very tense on both sides. It's asymmetrical, and you hear me talk about it all the time, the asymmetries. Republicans think they're going to win on social media, at Mar-a-Lago, members of Congress. That produces a different set of dynamics. I'll say again, the race is close. It shifted towards Trump, but abortion rights, women voters, superior financing and ground game, and Trump fatigue, no one should say the race is over. No one. But you can't ignore what we're seeing in the data. You can't ignore what we're seeing in the body language. And we've talked about all the various manifestations, and down ballot for Democrats is becoming an increasing issue. How Democrats want to close this contest, who are running separate from Kamala Harris, is becoming an increasing problem for Democrats.
That is a very fair assessment, because at the end of the day, none of us truly know without a doubt who's going to win.
No, we don't.
Right? But we do know right now, the polling, the numbers have all shifted towards Trump. That's number one. Number two, Trump clearly has the momentum. He is dominating social media. He's still dominating the media. I mean, the Beyonce rally is almost an afterthought at this point. He's in Madison Square Garden, sold out, by the way.
Yeah, that's what you got to say. Madison Square Garden. He did the barbershop. He went to McDonald's. He went on Joe Rogan, which got over 36 million views. So Donald Trump has been killing it over the social media, while Kamala Harris ain't does nothing. What she did was lie to her voters about Beyonce performing. The only reason why 30,000 people showed up there. And this woman literally took credit for Beyonce fans and tried to say that 30,000 people came to see her, not Beyonce. I mean, that right there is just insane. Kamala Harris, she does not have that support. If you can't fill up a high school gym in a rally, what make you think you'll get 30,000 people to come to a Houston rally? She just a lie. That's the reason why. She's getting all these celebrities like Eminem, Lizzo. She's getting all these celebrities to come out because their fans is the ones that come into the rallies because they want to see their celebrity, not Kamala Harris. So that's what she's doing. That's why she can't throw a rally when it's just her and Tim Walz. She just can't. Because hardly anybody show up. So she had to bring celebrities and tell, okay, Tyler Perry's going to be here on Friday. So everybody's going to come because of Tyler Perry, not for Kamala Harris.
So and that Madison Square Garden rally, it's like an RNC part 2 is really what's happening. So he knows what he's doing, to say the least. And I think he's going to make sure that he has the last word and the attention of the country heading into Election Day. And when you're hearing that down ballot, meaning senators and House of Representatives who are incumbents, not actually showing their support for Kamala Harris in their campaign ads, but showing their support for Trump in their campaign ads. I know it sounds crazy. Clearly, polling is saying that she's having trouble in these battleground states. And one of the biggest things that I think stands out in this election that we didn't see in 2020 and 2016 is the possibility that Trump could win the popular vote. Watch this.
One thing we have noticed in the last couple of days, this is not all of the polls that are out there now, but we have seen a number, 4 in the last 4 days, that have shown very small, but in the context of this close race, potentially meaningful movement in Trump's direction. I don't want to overstate it, but at the same time, it's hard to ignore these 4. The CNBC poll came out the other day, has Trump ahead by 2. The Wall Street Journal poll, Trump ahead by 3. These are national numbers. Siena and the New York Times, a tied race, CNN a tied race. The significance here is broader movement. Again, we're seeing in Trump's direction. But what is happening nationally? Well, we can show you from the CNBC poll. They picked up on something that our own NBC poll was suggesting recently, and that is a shift in the image of Kamala Harris. You can see right now in the CNBC poll, 42 positive, 48 negative, higher negative than positive. That's where Trump is too, largely 39, 49. The significance is about a month ago when we were polling this, Harris had a higher positive than negative. In our poll, in the CNBC poll, in other polls out there right now, you see Harris now with that negative going back above that positive rating.
Now, not everybody knows the science behind elections, but one of the biggest things that's easy to understand is something called low propensity voters. These are voters or people who never vote. That's really what it is. And the objective of the Trump campaign is to bet their money on people like that. Their whole ground game, everything they've been doing up to this point is not just about getting the initial base to turn out, but people who otherwise wouldn't have voted. This is what he did in 2016, by the way, and why the polls were so off, because low propensity voters showed up for Trump. And so the big if, like Steve Kornacki said, is will they do it again? Obviously, this election can be very complicated if you think about everything that's happened up to this point just in 2024. It's also simple, on the other hand, which is this. Immigration is a problem to most Americans. Kamala Harris loses on that.
Yep.
Inflation, the economy, cost of living, that's been a problem to most Americans. 70% of America thinks we're going in the wrong direction.
Yep.
So she loses on that too. Foreign policy, Israel, Hamas, Ukraine, and Russia. She loses on that too. The only thing that she's going to win on is abortion. So it's very simple what's going to happen. Either Kamala Harris is going to have women from every single corner of this country come out and vote for her nonstop, and she blows Donald Trump out of the water. And currently, right now, early voting does not show that.
It don't.
That women that have been early voting, it's a little bit less than it was in 2020. So
I mean, I do agree with that, because if you look at it, you got some women online that's still really favoring Donald Trump, especially if you go on X. So I don't believe every woman is going to vote for her because of abortion. Of course, you got some women that is. But the thing is, Kamala Harris ain't doing nothing but lying to them. That's the issue. Bernie Sanders said that Kamala Harris is going to say whatever it takes to get the votes. That's why now she's doubling down on this abortion. She studies saying this and saying that. And you even heard the interview say, well, okay, well, how is you going to do this? How is you going to get this past Congress? She don't know how she's going to get it past Congress. She don't even know if Congress is going to pass it. But she's going to say it because she's trying to make it sound good. I want women to do what they want to do for their body. So she's just going to say it and make it sound good, but she's not going to do it. This woman is saying whatever it takes to get elected. That's what she's doing. She's running off saying whatever it takes. Bernie Sanders already admitted it. Why she changed up all of her plans. She wasn't for fracking. Now she's for fracking. So it's like, come on, man. We ain't stupid at all. So like I said, if we want to make America great again, we got to get President Trump back up in office. We need 4 more years of President Trump, and then 8 more years of J.D. Vance. Y'all let me know in the comment section what y'all think about that. Thank you all for watching, and I'll catch y'all in the next one.